Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on course in BIM. I will be running through this presentation to help you understand about this course in BIM and how this will benefit you or it will help to discover the benefits of building information modeling as you complete this course. The entire presentation has been broken into two segments. The first segment, I'll be talking through what is BIM, why BIM, and what is the difference between CAD and BIM, what are the current industry trends, and then I will also talk to you how to connect this course with the building information modeling and so on. So we have a couple of videos to watch. The entire presentation will run for about 40 to 45 minutes. End of the session, we will be having a question and answer session where you can post in your questions as we do the presentation, and I will help to answer those questions. Okay, so let's get into the presentation directly. My name is Xavier Papuraj. I am the coordinator and the senior teacher for the BIM courses being conducted in Box Hill Institute. As you know, there are two different courses being conducted here. One is an advanced diploma of building information modeling. Another one is the course in building information modeling. Okay. I'm an architect by practice and studies, and I've been doing BIM implementation and delivery of projects using integrated project delivery methods for about 15 years as a consultant around Asia Pacific region before I joined our Box Hill Institute as a teacher. I have an academic background of architecture, engineering, and urban planning, and I have been in this AEC industry for about 30 years now. Okay, let's talk about the industry trends. Where are we now in terms of global trend? The most important one is building information modeling connected to the AEC industry. Building information modeling has transformed the construction industry over the last 10 to 15 years time. The way in which projects have been delivered has really changed. And the owners and the developers have come to understand the benefit of BIM as a whole. So they have started to mandate BIM for all their projects. So this has put into a situation where every stakeholder of the AEC industry has to somehow catch up with the trend, and you need to get onto the bandwagon, what we call it as information modeling technology. The second trend is the globalization. The design consultancy has gone global now. That means there are no boundaries between countries when it comes to architectural design services or construction industry services. This has got twofold benefits. One is the participants in this industry or the stakeholders like the architects and engineers, they no longer have to dwell within their own country boundaries. Rather, they can pitch for projects across the globe. That's the competitive advantage what they have. But the second part of it is that they cannot use the convention project delivery methods to do this kind of a globalized situation. So they need to jump into a technology called building information modeling or integrated project delivery techniques. So that's the next trend. The third one is green mandate. It's all about sustainability, and AEC industry is the major contributor for the greenhouse emission, and they are the contributor for the carbon pollution, and then all those related issues like climate change, global warming, and so on. So nowadays, this focus is on developing projects which are green certified. So BIM also helps to address those technical requirements of achieving those what we call green star rating or the other rating systems around the world. And the final one is integrated project delivery. As you change your mode of project delivery from a conventional delivery to information modeling, you cannot use the existing practices. So we need to jump into an integrated project delivery methodology wherein there will be a collaborative environment for delivering a project, and people have to work around a common data environment and so on. So when we keep saying building information modeling, what is this building information modeling is all about? So as you read through this content, I'll run through what is BIM. BIM is an intelligent 3D model-based project delivery processes. You all know about 3D, there is a difference between a 3D in CAD and 3D in BIM. The difference is the information which we build on top of the building elements. That information can be enriched along the way as we start designing a project and ultimately delivering a project to the client. So that is what BIM is all about. So it's about the information which is built on top of it. And that's why we call it as building information modeling. The definition of BIM goes like this: creation and usage of consistent, coordinated, computable information about a building project from planning through design, construction, and then post-construction operation. That's the definition of BIM. That means we are going to look into an information which is built, and that information helps to achieve your project delivery throughout the life cycle of the project, and that helps to deliver the project better. So I'm going to show you a short video for 2 minutes. Can you play the first video, please? Okay, thanks for that. I'm going to share my screen furthermore. Um, so let's move on from here. I think that video should have given you a very basic understanding what we are talking about as BIM here. As you get into the course and then when you learn the subjects through, you will get a very good understanding of how to deliver a project through BIM. But before we move further, I just want to show you or try to explain to you the difference between what we call CAD and BIM. See, CAD is made out of dump lines, what we call as arcs, lines, and circles using a program like AutoCAD or any other 2D platform. And we are trying to prepare drawings, and then we are trying to use those drawings to deliver a project. But the problem with those lines, they are not intelligent, they are 2D in nature. So when we exchange information, we end up being in an information chaos. Whereas when we talk about BIM, BIM is all about smart building objects. Door as a door, window as a window, and wall as a wall. And they know how to talk to each other and they have a parametric relationship between them. So when we share this model with another fellow participant in this practice or to a stakeholder, there is a proper information share. That is the huge difference between CAD and BIM. But not only that, BIM helps the project to be owned by the leader. That means the owner will be able to take control of the project, and then the design delivery will be, I mean, you won't be buying time to get back to with your drawings and so on. So if you keep pace with the design, you get an integrated project delivery structure and you have a open information sharing, and then you also able to identify the scope creep and you end up with a virtual model. And that model is more than a 3D model. It's a data driven structure and user defined rules, and it helps to achieve parametric changes. And this has got what we call as bidirectional association between elements. End of the day, what we get is a relational database built into the system that helps you to produce automated drawings, estimates, and so on. So when we talk about BIM, it's not just about 3D. A lot of people think BIM is nothing but using a 3D model, but this is more than a 3D model, where we have the other dimensions of BIM, which is 4D. 4D is nothing but time scheduling. You should be able to schedule your entire project from start to finish and link it with the model, and you can do a time simulation. The next dimension is 5D, where we can do cost planning using the same model. You'll be able to do what we call value engineering as you progress through the model, or sorry, through the project, and you will be able to forecast and then do the risk management as we overrun the cost any point of time. And of course, I spoke about the green mandate, and BIM helps to achieve this through the sixth dimension called sustainability. And then the seventh dimension of BIM is called post-construction maintenance or the facility management that helps to assess the life cycle cost of your project. So it's not just moving from one platform to another platform. This is a complete paradigm shift from the CAD environment to the BIM environment, where the benefit is going to the owner or the client directly. So as we talk about 3D, 4D, 5D, so this simple slide will tell you. Anyway, most of the slides will be shared with you to go and read through it. So I'm not going to run through everything. I'm just going to focus on the basic things. So when I talk about the changing paradigm is nothing but the method or the mode by which projects have been delivered using the CAD methodology is changed altogether when we deliver project through BIM. So let me show you a simple slide. This is the conventional project delivery method, or what we call the contract mechanism, where you will see the owner has got a contract between the architect, a separate consultancy agreement between the architect and the owner, another agreement between the owner and the contractor, and the delivery of the project is done in a little bit of a chaotic manner. Of course, this was successful over the period, but we come to understand there are a lot of issues built within the traditional project delivery method. So we move on to what we call the integrated project delivery structure, where there is a centralized model in the middle, and every participant of the project is working around that particular model, and then that shared data or the shared model is a central focus for the project delivery. So that's the change in paradigm, the way the projects are delivered. Of course, when we try to implement BIM, it starts off with the consultants first. It starts with the architects, and then the engineering and the structural consultants, and then slowly it moves to the next stage where the contractors, the fabricators, the subcontractors, and the material suppliers, they are all lured into the BIM environment. When they all mature in their usage, the project delivery structure will change from the traditional delivery to the integrated project delivery mechanism. So when we learn about BIM, we are indirectly learning how to deliver a project using IPD methodology. So I'm just walk you through some of the processes what the designers use, in order to deliver a project. It's not just one tool, it's not just one software or one program. There are multitude of programs here which the architect, the engineers, and everyone have to use in order to get their project delivered. So I'm just running through these: the design, the presentation, the documentation, the modeling, the analysis, cost estimation, and nowadays you have complex geometries, and then there is a green mandate, and then there are so many other things. When we try to put everything into a streamlined process, we have to rely on BIM, or the BIM processes will help you to go through the concept design to the design delivery to the presentation and ultimate delivery of the project. So BIM tries to put everything together into it as a streamlined single line process. Now, when we talk about integrated project delivery, we need to understand the keys to the integrated project delivery. Integrated project delivery is to trying to involve all the team members in design meeting, a regular design meeting, and we will be trying to minimize the paperwork or the paper-based processes. Rather, that collaboration happens digitally. And we will be trying to institute a building information modeling in the middle, and we will check for interferences and then check for all kind of issues coming out of that project. Will be in a very collaborative but in a digital way. So we enable collaboration, and we also create a culture of trust, sharing, and transparency. And finally, we set up a contract mechanism that enables collaboration, not the regular contract mechanism between the contractor and the client, or the client and the architect. And finally, we are trying to communicate design ideas using 3D visualization. It's like a visual depiction of your project so that everyone is aligned. So IPD predominantly around that four things: building information modeling, facilitating collaboration, creating a culture of trust and sharing. So this is what IPD means. So when we look at usage of BIM around the world, BIM is being used by urban planners to start off with their, major planning. It's not that BIM is used only for architectural purpose. It can be used for urban planning and for many other related activities. And it is predominantly used by architects to visualize, to construct, to develop documentation, and to work in collaboration with the other engineers. So It can be used as a visual tool. It can be used for documentation and also for construction coordination and so on. Of course, it can be used by the structural engineers when they embark in these kind of structures or non-conventional elements like a wall which is shown on the screen. You can't simply use any 2D platform to do that. So you need to use advanced programs to get those things working and develop the actual element with all the reinforcement and so on. So structural engineers also use BIM to do difficult and double curved and curved elements in their structural design. Of course, BIM is also used by interior designers to come out with their own innovative design and so on. And finally, BIM is being recommended for the builders and contractors to coordinate their work and get the project delivered within the time, within the cost budget, and also within the controlled mechanism. So this is a preview about BIM for you. Now let us jump into our course, the course in Building Information Modeling. It's a short course. This is delivered through Box Hill Institute through the Faculty of Trade, and there is a mid-year intake happening this year starting, the enrollment will start very soon. So we will be notified with the dates and all those things. Now, when we look at course in BIM, this is a mid-year intake. As I told you, it's a 6 months duration. The start date is 16th of July and the end date is 18th of December. The learning mode or the course delivery mode is a blended learning mode. So it's not like a regular part-time or a full-time course where we have classroom-based teaching. No. The complete delivery of the project or this course is web-based. So we have web-based lectures on Tuesdays and Thursdays for about 1 to 1.5 hours each week. And there will be a face-to-face contact section once in a month on a Saturday in the campus environment between 9 to 11 a.m. And of course, you will be provided additional tutorial support only when if it is required and mandated by the institute. That will be held in the campus on Wednesdays between 5:30 to 8:30, but that's an optional. So the entire course will be delivered through web-based portals and distant learning methodology. So it's going to be only in the evening. And then when we talk about this course, the course is unique and relatively newer to this TAFE environment because the subject matter is new. Also, the course delivery method is also new. This is not a regular TAFE program. This is being offered by the first time at the TAFE level through the initiatives of the Victorian government and the Directorate of Education and Training through a funding called what is called Work Training Innovation Fund. So this is being tried at a trial basis, and we already have the advanced diploma course running, and we are having this course in as a median intake. Okay, this is focused for the employees who are in the industry. This is not for regular students who just finished school and all that. No, this is focused on the employees who have done a diploma in building design or a diploma in project management or diploma, and they would like to know more about BIM-based project delivery. So this is focused on those individuals who are already employed in the industry. And this is being offered as a part-time study, as I said. So it's a distant learning methodology with 1 or 2 sessions per week. And of course, those details are already there. So when we look at the course itself, we do have 2 core units here. The first core unit is use of BIM technology for a project. That means there are about 20 to 25 BIM uses which you can apply onto any project. So it talks about the different BIM uses and how these BIM uses can be employed on top of your project. And it also touch bases with all the authoring tools, management tools, and collaborative tools, and all those software tools which involves in use of BIM. The second core unit is managing project using BIM, where this is more of a theory plus practicals combined, where we talk about BIM execution plan. How do we develop and prepare a BIM execution plan from a project? And then this is based on the client's information request, and then the BIM execution plan comes with people who are going to collaborate in the project. How are they going to deliver the project? What are the collaboration mechanism they're going to use? What kind of deliverables are going to be used? And that's what this subject unit. So there are two core units we will be learning, and there are two elective units. The first elective unit is all about applying those benefits of the BIM technology for a project. Okay, one is understanding and learning how to apply them. The second elective is about use of blended or mixed reality technology. So something to do with the visualization. How do we use the BIM model to do advanced visualization using virtual reality techniques and mixed reality techniques and so on. So those are the 4 units which are being identified for this course in delivery starting in July. But this is just a pathway to your advanced diploma of building information modeling. So when you complete these 4 units, you will be provided credit for these units. So when we go and do your advanced diploma, you will be given credit for these 4 units, or you will be recognized with those units you have already finished. So you will be doing another 4 more units. There are 2 core units. One is about cost planning analysis and control processes. How do we manage cost planning? How do we control costs? And how do we mitigate risk and so on? It's about one of the core unit. Another one is managing the BIM contracts itself. So what are the contracts? Well, how different a BIM contract is away from a conventional contract? What are the pitfalls? What are the risk elements we need to be aware of? And how do we make sure you don't end up in some kind of a legal issue and all and so on? So there are the 2 core units there. And we do have additionally 2 more elective units. One is applying what do you call BIM technology to validate a project, and then sustainable design principles on a project. And there are 4 more elective units which will be offered in the future intake. So you got 7 to 8 elective units to choose from. So this is the structure by which the course is going to be delivered. So the ones which are circled or with the red bracket are the units which will be covered in advanced diploma, and the second set of units at the bottom are the choices. You have the elective choices which will be provided to you. For example, the digital fabrication technology, risk management, or setting up of a BIM capable software and files and so on. So for this year intake, we are looking into those 4 units on the left hand side which are highlighted in blue. Okay, so you don't have a choice to pick another elective for this year, but in the future you may get a choice to pick an elective. So now looking through that, as I told you, the units are delivered using a self-paced learning methodology. I told you, so it's a remote delivery. It's using a web portal called VizIQ or MS Team, or at times using Zoom. And then the learning materials are actually uploaded in the student web for you to download and read them through on your own self-paced style with your own time management techniques. You will be provided with feedback for all your submissions which you do online, and you will also be given a marking and validation and so on. But as a bottom line, you will be expected to devote at least 10 to 15 hours of your time per week in attending to the lectures and attending to their assessment tasks, probably over the weekend. So when we look at the course, there are the units of competency which helps you to develop the knowledge and the performance evidences, also the element of performance criteria. The learning objective is to have the industrial currency about the developments, what's happening around, and you enhance your knowledge and the processes. When it comes to the theory, it's all in student web, which you can read through and understand. And on top of it, we will have lectures, weekly lectures and webinars. We will also have guest lecturers coming in every now and then to provide their insight and their knowledge with you. And there are good amount of books and journals and websites and blogs being referred to you. We have a very good library with new sets of books. What about practicals? Practicals will be BIM model based practicals. So you may have to use either your own personal computer or your home computer, or you can use the computer lab in Box Hill Institute to attend to your work. Of course, those practicals will be using BIM tools and applications and processes. Assessments, of course, we will have multiple choice questions as a quiz, and there will be generic group discussions and forum activities. You will be expected to develop and submit reports, and you will be doing some digital submissions by using BIM tools like Revit, Navisworks, Costex, and so many other applications. All of them are considered to be the assessments. Okay, so this is how the course will be delivered. And when we look through the assessment involves reports and presentations I mentioned to you, it offers knowledge on BIM based project delivery processes. We recommend at least 2 years of experience before you apply to the course, so that you know what's happening in the industry and how do you connect yourself with the subject, with the industry. If you do not have that connection, you will not be able to sail through this course smoothly. Okay, and we don't provide basic tutorial support for any of the software applications which you'll be using. You need to know them at the base level, but we will help you to achieve those assessment criteria by providing additional support. If we find, if the institute finds that a set of students are having that difficulty in sailing through that, probably we will provide additional tutorial sessions in the evening. Now, when we look at the course delivery, I said there are 2 core subjects and there are 2 elective units. Now, all those 4 courses are delivered through the student web content, and there is a BIM model. We have built a BIM model. There are 2 sets of model being built around which your learning activity will be. So you will be using that model to attend to your assessment task, and then we will be providing you complex situation to resolve. But you will also be guided to use BIM 360 as a collaborative platform for you to understand the project delivery methods. So when you use those things, you are exposed to a plethora of knowledge like quantification, fabrication, cost controlling, concept design. Every aspect of project delivery is around those BIM model and also through the subject delivery. Of course, the additional subject units are part of the advanced diploma program, where you will also try to understand the advanced methodology like quantification, quality control, project commissioning, and so on. Even the simulation is not part of the coursing. So I would recommend you to, whoever is listening to this webinar, can look into joining in this course and then promoting yourself into advanced diploma. Maybe it will start in 2021 January. So let's move on from here. When you look at the faculty members have the industry experience. The guest lecturers come with a huge experience. We are going to hire more teachers to deliver the subject units, so they'll be able to connect you. And then we also provide a repository of learning materials and books and articles, and library has got a lot of new books. And also we have a computer lab installed with the CAD BIM applications. We also provide you free subscription to the popular industry applications like Autodesk material like AutoCAD, Revit, Navisworks, and we do provide free licenses for Costex. We provide free licenses for Enscape 3D and so on. So you will be able to use all those things on your own personal laptop, and you can really apply. So when we look at the student web, we do have the subject materials. Along with that, we do have a hub called Project Hub, where we have this project model which is being built and shared for student use. And that model helps you to learn all these objectives, which is part of the course. So the same model will be approached for BIM, for managing contract, to do visualization and all those things. So all your learning activities are around that BIM model, and we have two sets of model which are completed in all three favors, like architecture, structure, services, and so on. We do have a project execution plan or a BIM execution plan. We do have contracts, we have materials, and everything has been developed for you to access and use it for your learning activities. And I would like to skip these two slides because this is going to take few more times, but you can read through. So this slide talks about attributes of uh, project-based learning. Why do we apply this knowledge of or the method of keeping a central model for your own course delivery? So there is a reason behind it. So project-based learning is around the BIM model, and it gives you opportunity using those 5 criteria, which you can read and understand. And second, what is the model-based teaching and learning involved? So there is a model which has got the semantic richness, and it has got an integrated information. It's a comprehensive and extensible object properties are built into it. So that model will be used for your learning. But how do we learn? That's where this slide actually helps you. There are 3 ways to look into your learning activities. One is instructive, illustrative, and immersive. Instructive learning is about the way you have lessons and tutorials and self-paced material and so on. But illustrative learning is using the model and trying to explore the model, visualize the model, and try to get a grasp of your subject knowledge. Immersive knowledge is on the same model, but it will be kind of a problem solving method. You approach the design beyond the basic level and try to integrate the model and try to understand and so on. So this is something which you can read and understand, but we have subject units for each of the immersive learning, illustrative learning, and instructive learning methodology. So our subject units are also managed in such a way you try to get all the 3 different ways of understanding BIM through the model-based teaching and learning methodology. Okay. Now let's talk about the software which you will be learning and using. So there is a 2D. You, of course, most of you should be knowing how to use a 2D drafting platform, but we move on to 3D authoring tools like Revit and ArchiCAD, and you know how to really use them to develop the model. And we talk about collaborative platforms, Navisworks, and we also use Microsoft Project for 4D. In the future, we'll be covering Synchro, and for cost management, we use Revit and Costex. And of course, for sustainability, we'll be learning Insight and Green Building Studio and a bit of Ecotech there. We don't unfortunately cover 7DR, the facility management, in this course. But coming to the virtual reality, you will be learning Enscape 3D and Lumion, and you will be able to do some VR techniques and presentations. And the collaborative platform, what we have is BIM 360, which is provided by Autodesk. It's a fully functional platform which we'll be using. Of course, for our learning, we use Student Web, we use Microsoft Team, and also we use VizIQ and a bit of Zoom. So this is the different dimensions you'll be learning. And then coming to the support system, we have a very good engaging what we call partnership with Autodesk, Exactal, and Enscape 3D. They provide free licenses for our students to use and to apply onto the projects. Okay, so if time permits, I'm going to run through few um, videos. There is a video which talks about BIM 360, and then there is another video which talks about Enscape 3D, and there is another video which talks about Costex. So the next maybe a few minutes, I'm going to wrap up the session. Please, can you play the second video? So that's BIM 360. We do have a complete suite of BIM 360 platform available for our students' usage, and we are currently using it for our advanced diploma program. It's really, really a very good platform to work in a collaborative environment, and you get to learn a lot about what we call common data environment and the digital project delivery techniques. The other partnership what we have is Enscape 3D. Enscape 3D is a real-time VR plugin which works seamlessly with the Revit environment. You are able to really render your Revit model to an advanced way, and you can do what we call animations, and you can do virtual reality executable files from there. And of course, we will be providing you with the experience of these, what we call the VR goggles, and you'll be able to use it and experience the virtual reality stuff using Enscape 3D. Could you please play that video, the third video, please? Okay, thanks for that. So we have come to the end of our presentation. So we do have a engagement with the Exactal company, which are dealing with Costex. We have a fully functional suite of Costex 3D available for students to use. Costex is a program whereby you can extract quantities out of your BIM model as well as from your 2D drawings. So you can extract from a 2D drawing, maybe it's a DWG or a PDF or or an image file or a raster file or whatever. It can also extract quantities from the Revit BIM model or the ArchiCAD BIM model or from an IFC model. So we do actually cover these subjects in the advanced diploma program, where we talk about cost planning, cost modeling. But the virtual reality stuff, what we saw earlier, is something which we are planning to deliver for the course in as a elective subject. So you will get an experience of using Enscape 3D and Lumion, and also how to use our Revit model to export into VR files and so on. So we are running out of time, so I'm not going to show this video. Otherwise, that's the end of my presentation. I hope I managed to give you a kind of an insight into why BIM and what is BIM and how you are going to learn the aspects of BIM in this course. So I throw open for question and answering, and probably I'll hang on for the moderators to provide me access to the questions, and probably I'll be able to answer them if they are relevant to this session. All right. Hi, can you switch me back to normal mode? And of course, this session is being recorded, and you will probably get an access to the recording. and you can recommend this to any of your friends who failed to join the session, or probably they were not aware of something happening. So you can share this video. And of course, the presentation, the entire slide will be shared with you for you to go through and read and understand if you have anything. And I don't know whether we have any questions from the participants or the attendees. I think the organizers should share those questions with me so that I can provide the answer here. Um, all right, it looks like there are no questions so far, but you can post your questions. Post your questions to the marketing team. And if you have anything which I failed to cover in my presentation about this course, probably they'll be able to come to me and I can help to answer them. All right, if you have no questions, probably we will just let you hang around for another few minutes, because this whole webinar was planned for 1 hour and I do have another 2-3 minutes left. So if you still think about asking a question, you can post your question here and I'll probably answer them. There is one question from Susan Morris. Okay, the level of BIM implementation in Australia. There was a slide which actually obviously skipped. There are 3 levels of BIM, or we would call it as 4 levels: level 0, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Australia is around level 2. Universally, no one has crossed level 2 as of now. Level 3, maybe I can show you the slide which talks about that. Just give me a minute. If I could really talk about it, or maybe you can go through the slide anyway. That level 0 is delivering a project using a 2D methodology, which we have been doing all along. Level 1 is a mix of 2D and 3D, and that's how most of the developing countries, and even some of the developed countries, are adapting to delivering a project. Level 2 BIM is completely coordinated IPD method of delivering a project, where are very little bit of 2D environment there. It's completely 3D, and there is going to be what we call a common data environment with a collaborative model and collaborative portal, where the entire project will be delivered through digital methodology. So Australia is striving to reach up to level 2, but we haven't crossed level 2. Very few infrastructure projects would have crossed that level 2 boundary, but the rest of the world are still into level 2, achieving the maturity level in level 2. But level 3 is the ultimate one, where we are talking about completely different way of delivering project. Yes. So it involves IFC and all other aspects, where model from different vendors, products from different manufacturers with their own digital data or digital element given to us for sharing, can work together in a what we call universal BIM platform. Okay. There is another question. Administrative execute projects. There is no mandatory requirement for the administrator to use BIM. Okay. And I think I would refer you to rephrase this question, because I don't really see the administrator from the project side or from the client side. I'm not too sure. Anyway, I will see through this question and try to answer this, Susan. Okay, if there are no more questions, I would like to wrap up the session, and I want the organizer to end the session here, and then probably I look forward to emails from individuals. And thank you so much for being part of this webinar. And I hope I try to cover as much as possible about this course and the method and the mode and the kind of knowledge what you're going to gain out of this course. Okay. Thank you very much, and we'll catch up again.